I'm going to turn it over to the man himself. I asked him to share his thoughts. I have no idea what he's going to talk about, but whatever it is, take notes. The man, Nate Butcher. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey guys, I appreciate you, Mark. I want to say nice to have you here. I know you're visiting, and if you ever need any of us on here, we're all here working together. Frank, Elgin, all of us, Sid. You can get my number from anybody if you ever need any questions, anything like that. Help any way I can. So it's glad to have any of you new people. So we just wanted to talk. I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in the market now, what we're seeing, because I think we're all pretty much seeing it everywhere from location to location. The fundamentals never change, but something that's one of the hardest things for me to coach and for me to teach and for me to actually get people to do is follow up. And I know it sounds super simple, but I want to tell you how in depth that I am doing follow up. So just to kind of let you guys know, this is my 26th year of selling real estate, but I am definitely still in the trenches, even though I have an amazing team. Now Lucia's on here and Sonia's on here that works with me, and we have about 12 of us that work really hard, but I'm still out selling houses. I did open houses both days this weekend. I do them with different people on the team. I'm listing right now maybe 3 properties a week. Okay, so really working on listings, but how do we get those, but still working on getting the buyers through and things like that. So, but how do we not waste our time? So the first thing I wanted to talk about is I built my business on open houses. Okay. And I know, especially when we get a little bit older, we feel like we've graduated. You've got 20 some years on the job. You feel like you've graduated. You don't want to do an open house. You don't want to waste, sit your open house for a weekend. You want to do other things with your life. But when you categorize what you need and what you really want, don't overlook the hard work. And I think many times somebody who's been successful like Elgin, successful like Frank, and I'm not telling them how to do their business, or somebody who sold a lot of homes. I think I've sold over 2,500 homes. To go sit an open house, you almost feel like it's kind of below what your capabilities are. But just remember, what pays, what actually pays, if you're trying to make money, okay, now if you want other kinds of balance in life, that's not what I'm talking about. But if your paychecks are short or your bank account needs help, sit the open houses. And the reason why they're so good right now is many people are coming through the open houses instead of touring properties with their agents. We're seeing it all the time. And Sid's shaking his head, yes. And I think now, could that be because of the new buyer broker laws agreement? Maybe just a little bit. I don't know, but I think a lot of people are testing the waters. But it's a really good way to get people to get in front of people. Because what I want to say is, if you're trying to do email campaigns to people you don't know, if you're trying to do text campaigns to people you don't know, if you're trying to get your business off only social media, there's a disconnect from meeting the person face to face and then feeling your energy and feeling your personality. So let's start with an open house, and this could go into parties, barbecues, networking groups that aren't just for real estate, all the different ways that we prospect for clients. You need to do as many face to face, relationship based CRM follow up that you can do. That's what you want to do. So, I want to tell you how far that I go to an open house, and this might open up your mind a little bit if you're not doing these things. So, if I personally am going to take, at 54 years old, I'm going to take my Saturday and Sunday, and I get up, I go to church on a Sunday morning and straight to the open house, right? If I'm going to work on that day, I have to get paid. So in my mind, if I sit an open house, there is no such thing as a zero. Okay, if there is, then I have to sit another to make it all average out, right? Here's what happens when we sit the open house. I typically take another person with me. Okay, I take that other person with me, and I have 2 to 3 other properties to show in the area when that person comes in that are of like kind. So I'll set that up with the other homeowners. Hey, can I show this on a moment's notice? Can I do that? And they're usually happy to with the other agents or the other homeowners to do a quick notice. And I'll try to do that. So when somebody comes in, what I'm trying to do is build that relationship with the person. But the only way that I can do that is through that face-to-face contact. So if we can do that, and we have another property down the street, we'll send that person. But the thing that you have to do, you have to get their information. Guys, this sounds simple, but just think about how many agents, when I go through the whole process of how I do an open house and consistent follow up, think of how many people drop the ball by 1% or 5%, whatever. If you want to call it 99.5, because here's something, if you want to write it down, please write this down. You can, in selling real estate, you can do 99.9% of the stuff correct, just like hitting a fastball. Just like if you're in the major leagues and you go to hit a fastball, if you miss it by 1/10%, it's a strikeout. But if you connect, it's a home run. It's the same way in real estate. And I think from what I see and what people do is they do all this hard work. So you may circle prospect around your open house. You may set up the open house. You do social media posts on the open house. You do all of this hard work and then you get to the open house. And they come in and what's the first thing you do? Can you please sign in for the seller? Half the time it's a good name, half the time it's a bad name, half the time you can't read what it says, anything like that. Okay. So that's what you want them to do. A better way to do it is to carry your phone and make sure you start talking about other things that will connect you to them, their family. Remember Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So when you're talking to those people and you're trying to get that good relationship, you have to get a good contact. What I typically do is I write it in my phone. I'll pull out my phone real quick and I'll say, oh my gosh, I have to do this or that. And I'll put it in my phone. I don't want to get off target where I'm at. But once I get it there, once I know that I have their correct information, I want to make sure that I do the proper follow up. Now, here's where most agents go wrong that I see. You do the open house, you have 20 people sign in, 5 people sign in, ever how many come back, you put it in your book, you're exhausted, you go home, you pick up your signs, you've been out all day, and that's as far as it goes. You might call one or two of them Monday or Tuesday, maybe. That's as far as it goes. So that's the 99% of all the hard work. You did your open house post, you did all the stuff, but it's the follow up, which is the subject that I want to talk about. Not exactly how to get the numbers. That's a whole different class, right? It's the follow up. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. I did an open house this weekend on one of my properties. It was a big property, 1950, 4,000 square foot home. And I had about 12 couples come through. Okay. As those different groups came through, I was able to discern and I was able to get 5 full contacts, addresses, information, everything. Okay. 5 people out of the 12 to 14 couples. Okay. So what I did is I keep my computer there. If they're gone, I put them directly into my CRM. They go directly into my phone with all their information and I have it connected to my CRM. Then I put it into my CRM right there on the spot. I use Sierra Interactive. You can use any CRM, Follow Up Boss, whatever you guys want, EXP, KW Command, wherever you're working at, right? Put it into your CRM so you have it correlated with your phone. Okay. And then you'll be able to follow up. Okay. So what we did is I have all those 5 people's information. Now what do? I go and I look up their address and I see where it is. And I created a CMA for every single one of those people. If you wait during the week, you're not going to take the time to put it in. You have to put it in the same day as the open house, or you just will not do it on Monday morning. Because now it's Monday morning. I've been at it since about 7, making calls. I have to go through this class. Then the calls start coming in with all the escrows, and you get bogged down. So as soon as you do your open house and you pick up your signs, let's say you do it from 12 to 3. You're home by 4:30. Guys, your day doesn't end until those contacts go into your CRM and are connected to your phone. So once you have to do that because then, or if not, you're going to miss the main part. So now they're in my database under my sphere of influence or whatever you want to tag it. Okay. So now what did I do? I created a home value report, comparative market analysis, whatever for the people. Now, here's what I do. Each of my CMAs, I'm not telling, and I think you should do this. I think you should invest in your people. Each of my CMAs were $52. Okay, $52. So Nate, what in the world do you have at $52? I go to the multiple listing. Takes me 2 minutes to pull up their personal home where they live in now and to do a comparative market analysis and equity report around their house. Okay. I send it to my virtual assistant where I have my marketing plan, the CMA, I have my team is the first part. Then I have my comparative market analysis of their home on the front of it, right? That they currently live in. And then I have my marketing plan in the back. And I have it printed on the thickest, heaviest bound paper that you can have. It weighs like 2 pounds. Okay. I have that printed. So now it's being printed and it's Monday. On Tuesday after the open house, or on Monday at the open house, I send them, it was a pleasure to meet you. I'm really looking forward to working with you. Most people never reply on the text back. They never reply back. On Tuesday, I just did this in front of my team meeting. I send a video text. Okay. I sent a video text. It was a pleasure meeting you. I hope you got my last message. I want to let you know I'm working hard for you. Never more than 30 seconds. Mine are 26 seconds. I have it down to where it's 26 seconds. I use their name. I use their family's name. I was like, it was a pleasure meeting you, John, with Alexander and your son Max. He's going to have so much. We're going to find your dream house. That's what we're looking for. Some of them will respond and some of them won't. And here's what I want to tell you. If they don't respond, that doesn't mean you're out of the water. Okay. I have shown my team where I have followed up every 3 to 4 to 6 months, sometimes even if it took me a year, for 2, 3, 4 years. I just had one 8 years of text threads. Never responded, called me to list his house, act like he'd been talking to me the whole time. Okay. So what you want to do, you want to make sure that you're following up. So now it takes about 3 or 4 days for that CMA to be printed and then it gets sent out. So mine from not this weekend, last weekend's open house, they hit Thursday. So now it's Monday, right? So now today, I know that they all got their FedEx package with their custom report. Now, why would I spend $52 with 5 people, $250 to capture 5 people's information? Here's why. Because my office is in that area. These are properties that are all over a million, million, 2, 1,000,000, 5. So do the commissions on that. They all would sell their homes and buy something if they were looking. Guys, if they're out roaming around open houses in their own neighborhood, one of them wanted a pool, one of them wanted a better view. These people all have money. I researched them. So I spent the money. Why did I send a book like that? Because they won't throw it in the trash. They will not throw it in the trash. Elgin's shaking his head. They will not throw it in the trash because it has their house on the front of it with their address, big picture, okay? And then the market analysis. They will take that and they'll put it in the drawer. They'll put it because it's a book. You don't want to throw something that's nice away. It feels weird just to throw that in the trash. It's not a postcard. It's not a potato chip bag clip. It's not a cheap pen that you can't even, the floats in the air. It's so cheap when we buy that. Anything you do cheap, that's a reflection on you. Okay. So I'm not saying you have to do everything expensive, but for something like that, if they have a 1.5, $2.5 million house to sell and they're buying the same price, what's the commission on that? 50, 60, 70, $80,000. Is it worth $52 to have that person in your database? So now today, when I'm off of here, I will go back and say, hey, I just wanted to get back with you. Now, I will call the person at this time. I will call. If they do not pick up, I will leave a detailed voicemail. Then if I leave a detailed voicemail, I will send a text to say, hey, John, I called you. I was just checking up on you. Blah, blah, blah. I was calling to see if you got the package I sent you. I wanted to make sure you received my marketing plan. I'm just here for you when you need me. Okay. Now, after that is when if you have those people in your CRM, you should be taking some kind of class or somebody should be teaching you how to follow up within your CRM. So once I tag somebody in my CRM I'm just saying an open house, this could be a barbecue, this could be whatever you meet somebody. Once I tag them in my CRM, they're there for life. Remember, they're matched in my phone under a category. So I have all my 1,000 past clients in my phone that I've kept. I wish I'd have kept them my whole career. I didn't. I've got about 700 past clients in there. So I'm adding to it all the time. And why am I adding to it? Because some of my people are starting to pass away in their 80s, right? They're moving out of state. They're leaving. If you get to be a little older, a little more mature in the business, and you're not meeting younger people and new people, then your database is going to disappear. You have to keep building it. Now, Garrett's working with me now, which is a cool thing. So I feel like I'm building it for my 25-year-old son because we're working side by side. So it gives me like some new energy to do that, right? So that's a fun thing. But for whatever your reasons are, that's what you want to do. So now they're in my CRM. So now what is the follow up? So here's my follow up. And if you want to write this down, this is the best company you can use. Okay. Corefact, Corefact. So that seven, I actually send it to about 500, and I've got some little reasons why, because it gets expensive. It's $1 a piece for the jumbo card. You can get a small one simpler. But Corefact will let you do a year's worth of big postcards at a time. And all you have to do is update your address all the time. And it basically does a market analysis of their house and goes every month. Custom designed, they're beautiful. Okay. So if I send, let's say to 500, that's 500 a month in my marketing wheel. Okay. But now I'm closing. You think about it, we closed 126 transactions last year. All those weren't my personals. Let's say my personals were 40, 50, whatever. So you think, does that still pencil? Yes. So there's a little bit of money spent to keep up with them. So they get that once a month. Every property that I list, I do an email with that property's video. That's my value. So let's say I'm listing 3 or 4 properties a month. They're getting 3 or 4 to their email per month. Okay, so think of that. One time a year, they get a phone call. If they do not pick up, I just leave a voicemail. If they do pick up, I talk to them. That's it. I don't keep badgering them. One time a year, they get a personal text. So think about it. 12 postcards. Let's say you do 1 listing a month or 5 listings a year, whatever. Then they get your email. So they're getting touched from me 20 to 30 to 40 times. Plus, they have my big book in their thing. Now, they might not contact me for a year, 2 years, but maybe they don't come back. But all of a sudden, I just get up in the morning sometimes. Hey, Nate, what's going on? Thanks for the message. And I will look back and they haven't responded in 3 years, not even a thumbs up to my text. So don't feel like they're against you. You have to know your place. You're a real estate agent. Do you know when you come to their mind? When you put yourself into their mind and when they need you. We're not saving the world. We're not doctors. We're not curing cancer. We're providing a service. And Elgin said this one time, and I never forgot it. You have to be the person that they think of and go to. Because if there's let's say there's 5 million properties get sold in the US in 2026, let's say next year, 5 million. The same 5 million get sold whether I drop off the planet or not. I could have a heart attack tomorrow. Lucia will pick up my deals. Neil Weichel will pick up my deals. Frank will pick up my deals. Elgin will pick up my deals. The same amount of houses are going to get sold. So all you're really doing to make your living, to take care of your family, is for you to be the person who does the service. Here's what you need to know, and here's what they don't need to know, and here's where what a statistic that that is completely true. And this is not a made up statistic. This is true. So write this down. 95% of the agents in this country, 5% of the agents in this country list and complete 95% of the transactions. That's the pyramid. 5%. So 95% of the agents close 5% of the transactions. So if you will do things the right way, think about it. To be in the top, to be in the top, to be in the top tier, you have 95% of all the people out there wanting to work with you. But you have to do the work, because here's the thing that's not regulated in our industry: truth. They don't know the difference in my service, Elgin's service, Sid's service, or the biggest. I'm not going to say names, but you guys know them. I'm trying to do a deal with 2 of the biggest numbskull agents, and they have sold, one has sold 3 properties in 2 years, and one has sold 1. And they listed a $1.2 million property, 200,000 over list price. Okay. And I'm being very courteous because I respect the fact that they do have a real estate license. But here's what you have to understand. Why would that seller list with a real estate agent who's done 1 transaction and one who's done 2, who's trying to cut the commission, doesn't know how to price a house, has horrible marketing, has spent no money on the proper videos? The photos are done with an iPhone. They're not even sized to the MLS. Why would that seller, this is a great example because I'm not saying names, why would that seller choose those people to list their property when my office is a mile and a half away? I pay $600 for video and photos. I have a massive marketing budget. I have a team that would hold it open every weekend that have been trained. Why didn't they hire Lucia? Right? She's right here. Okay. Why would they hire that person? You know why? A relationship. They have a relationship with the person, and every agent says they're number one. I'm number one in the fourth quarter on the sixth floor on the 21st hallway on door seven. Okay, everybody's number one. So here's what I want to tell you. Until you get face to face and follow up with those people, you can't prove your worth. I'll give you another example. The gentleman who that I'm writing the offer for walked into an open house 4 weeks ago and met me. Okay. He walked in and Garrett and I were sitting in the open house. There were zero people through the open house except him. He had moved from New Jersey. And he goes, man, I've been doing this for 3 months. He goes, I want to work with you guys. Okay. Because he had heard so much nonsense. He's an intelligent guy. And I was able to show him. And when he went to walk out the door, he goes, do you have a lender I could get pre-qualified with? That's a dream client, right? But I didn't know this person. But what I'm saying is until you meet them face to face, if you meet, I'm going to say Lucia because she's been with me a long time and I've known her forever. If you meet Lucia at an open house face to face, you'll hire her in a minute. But if she doesn't, these people don't know her, they won't hire her. So your main goal is not to sell real estate, it's to be a data collector and to stay in front of them and create a relationship. People don't care. I mean, as long as you're professional, I'm not saying they don't care what you look like or how you represent yourself, but if you represent yourself professionally, you don't have to be perfect. You have to be available and you have to show knowledge. If you're Sid, I've watched him go from, I mean, growing, still just growing like crazy. He's on here, right? If you talk to Sid and Frank, you guys all can agree with this. You can hear how bad how bad he wants to take care of his clients. He'll go to the ends of the earth to do a good job. And so will Elgin. Now with Elgin, you definitely got to pay full price or more. That's the good thing. And he gets it. So that's one of Elgin's things. You work with me, you're paying full price or more. I get a little bit, I'm not quite as tough as Elgin is on the commission side, but I keep most of my 2.5 and 3%, right? But what I'm saying is both of those guys for years and years have went on, but they won't know that you're the best until you show them because everybody tells them how great they are. Does that make any sense? So it's the personal relationship. So you have to get in front of people and then you have to follow up with them. We'll move on really. Okay, I'll go for 5 more minutes. So we'll move on. So that's once you first meet somebody. So again, today, my next step is to leave a voicemail. If they don't pick up, voice memo. Guys, the voice memo on their text is the absolute best thing you can ever do. Nobody really wants to talk to you until they need you, but they want to hear your voice on those voice memos. Do not ramble. Keep them under a minute. Keep them 45 seconds. Okay, I've got some agents who send me voice memos that are 3 minutes long. I just don't even read them. I don't want. I cannot listen to a 3 minute. Even my mind won't go through it. Just leave them if they're just thinking of you. Do that all the time. Okay, and then they go into your CRM wheel. Okay, and then one or two will respond. You do that every weekend. You're building up 30, 40, 50 buyers at a time. So then you're working your buyers. But what you're really trying to do is get the listings. I'm not ever trying to work with the buyer. When I do an open house, I don't ever try to work with the buyer. I try to see if they have a property to sell, and the byproduct of selling their house is finding them a new one. And if you will keep that as your mindset, you can list 40 houses. And well, I don't know where you're at across the country, but 40 houses in California, you're going to net after cost over a half a million, five, six, 700, maybe 800, maybe $1 million. Okay. So depending on what price range you're at. So keep your price point as high as possible. Look for the listing, and the buyer is the byproduct of the listing, and you help the buyers the best you can, but the buyer is the byproduct. Okay. So that is the personalized touch if you've met them face to face. If you can't meet them face to face, a video text is one of the best things you can do. And listen, here's all you do. But listen, here's a couple rules to the video text. This is super important. If you meet the husband and the wife, you mention them both in the video text and you send to both. If you do not send to both, you do not, or the girlfriend or whatever, the partner, whatever the situation is, you do not send to one. It is not appropriate for me to meet Jeff and Donna, and for me to send Donna a personal video text saying how great she is. And it was a pleasure meeting her. Listen, you have to be smart, okay? Because you can offend really quickly. And we're not in the business of being right. We're in the business of not being inappropriate. So there's some things like you got to be careful, okay? So do that. If you're a lady, don't text Jim, the husband, and make sure that everything's appropriate. Put them both on a thread. Do something like that so everything is going good. Okay. So that's what you want to do. The video text, you just hold up your phone. Hi, Carl. This is Nate. We met at the open house this weekend. I just wanted to say it was a pleasure meeting you in Alexandria. I've been in this area for over 20 years. I know everything, and I really just want to help you find what you want. I'm going to be in touch. Let me do a little bit more research, and I'll get back in touch with you. I just wanted to say I appreciate you. Click. That's it. Use their names. Send it. Make sure that it goes through, then delete it. Why? Because you don't want to make a mistake because you're doing 6 or 7 or 8 of these, and you don't want to call Sid, because if Frank and Sid come in as partners, you don't want to call Sid and Frank John and Jeff. Okay. So these are just little tips. Make sure you delete it, you send it, it's in your thing, and go on to the next person. Only send a video text once. It gets creepy if you do it too many times. If you're sending video text as an introduction, do it one time. The rest of the time, use voice memos and regular text. Okay. So, but personalized multi-touch is a good way to do that. Okay. If you are sending voice memos versus always just texting, people think they know you that don't even know you. I have a listing appointment this week where I sent a personalized video text. On my text, I show 2 comments, 2 conversations. I cannot remember this guy. I don't think I ever met him. I think it went out on some kind of random video I sent out from YouTube. He calls me, "Hey, Nate, what's going on? It's good to talk to you again. I know we talked a little while ago." I'm like, "I've never talked to this guy a day in my life." Okay. It's because I was following up. He saw my video. That's why social media is important. If you'll notice, I post 3 to 4 times a day. Some of my posts, I was getting 60,000 views. Some of them, I get 107. Okay. That's not the point. The point is, if you post 4 times a day and you get 400 to 500 views, you just touch 2,000 people. So it is a constant thing of all the time. They see my voicemail or they see my text. They see this. They see me on social media. I have everybody that I meet. I make sure I friend them on Facebook and Instagram if I can. So that is the follow-up process. But your database is where everybody messes up. Nobody wants to keep a database. Okay. And I didn't do it for the first part of my career because nobody taught me and I wasn't smart enough to get coaching. But as the second half of my career, I've kept my database. And the third quarter, as I go in from age 55 to 80, because I'm never quitting, right? I love what I do. So as long as my health holds up, I'll be selling houses. Okay. So because that's how I meet people and that's where my interaction is and that's where my relationships are made. So it's not just about selling the product, it's about the people that you're with. Okay. So I'll kind of stop right there, but I want to tell you your database, guys. If you don't have Follow Up Boss, I don't know, whatever EXP is offering right now. If you don't have, I use Sierra Interactive. If you don't have one, you have to use one and you have to sync it in your phone. The reason why is if you have 500 people in your phone, 300 people, 200 people, you don't know who they are. There's no way for you to put them on systematic follow-ups. Okay. So those are all the different things you can do, but your follow-up, I think for many of you, if you're not selling, let's say I tell people to do what their business want, what they want through their business. I might see myself as successful selling 40 homes. Anything over that, you got a team. Let's just talk about 40 and under. Anything over 40, you got to have tons of help, right? Let's just be honest. I'm not saying you can't sell 100 houses yourself, but nobody does that consistently and doesn't burn out or whatever. But you can sell 40 properties and you're slammed. That's little over 3 a month, okay? Yourself. And that is a massive good living, no matter where you're at in the country, to sell 40 properties, okay? You can do that yourself with a proper follow-up system and just putting these things in place. But you have to enter the data into the CRM and set up your CRM. So that 99%, you're just barely missing it. So if you want to sell 15 to 40, That's what you're looking at. If you're selling less than that, you're probably not full time, right? So that's what I want to say about follow up. It's the most important missing piece of our business. And I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them because I've got follow up systems like crazy, and that's my bread and butter.
Questions, people.
I'll not necessarily a question, but first of all, I want to give Nate a big time kudos. I hope that you guys took a lot of notes. I will tell you that I've personally paid people to hear what he just said, and I've personally been paid by people to say what he just said. I hope that you guys really, really listened. I'll tell you a couple of things that he says, and whether it's open houses or not, that resonate is the speed, not only that you get your stuff into your database, because he's right. I don't care if it's open. Like I personally don't do open houses anymore. That's me, but I did a lot of them. I got to a point where that was just a different part of my business. But I'll tell you, whether it's from your calling, your door, whatever it is you're doing, if you wait, if you wait to put people in your database, number one, they don't get there. And if they do get there, by the time you decide to follow up with them, they don't remember who you are by that time. They don't remember who you are. I would even tell you, like for me, what I do in addition to everything Nate said is I still write personal thank you notes. And if I were doing open houses or anything or whatever, for everything Nate just said, I would also do two things. One, I would write him a personal thank you note, and it would get in the mail that night. You should find out where the post office is that will take your mail at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you get it there so they get it the next day. And in as far as like what Nate said with the follow up, I mentioned to you guys that I had opened an escrow Friday. The person that I opened an escrow fund from that is someone that I sold a home to, or sold a home for over 20 years ago. We have had very, very, very little contact, and none of it has been real estate related. But she has gotten something from me every month over the last 20 years. And I will tell you that what she has gotten from me over the last 20 years, us having a conversation, me putting her property on the market, it's selling in a week at a $550,000 sales price. Trust me, I did not send her the commission of what that $550,000 is going to be over the last 20 years. And I had someone that I met with 2 or 3 weeks ago. Unfortunately, their property had been in foreclosure. Because at one time I did a lot of short sales and all that, but their property had been in foreclosure. The husband passed away. These people, I never met him in person, never talked to him in person. His wife got, like Nate does, but this is a cheaper version, got one of my packets because I send out CMAs all the time. It was sitting on the table when I came in, and she called me because of the CMA. And she said, "I remember you reaching out to us when my husband, was living, and I have to sell. I have to sell." So I'm sure and I'm not, and I will even preface this to say that these are not areas that I normally work because I work more of a people farm or a spear. So these are areas that I don't have a presence in, but they didn't talk to anybody else. They're talking to me, and yeah, Nate teases me about it, but yeah, I have a certain standard that I keep in regards to my commission, and
Sure.
I got a value, and you're going to pay me my. I'm going to prove to you that my value is better than the next person's, and you're going to pay me for it. And if you're not, you're going to go somewhere else, and I'm not going to care. I'm that's that's just kind of the way because I'm no longer in the business of trying to sell 100 homes, and all of that, a year. So, and so anyway, man, Nate, you did a great job, brother. You did a really, really good job. I felt like I was talking to myself, but with educated.
It's funny when you have a lot of coaching and training and you know it's the right thing that what Elton said that I didn't even bid on. If you look at my notes, you can't see them, but the top thing says speed to lead. What did he just say? Speed to lead, right? And I just grazed right over it because so check this out. Why it works. Responding within 5 minutes increases conversion chances by 100x compared to waiting 30 minutes. That's what Elgin just said. So
Nate, before I forget, can you put your phone number in the chat?
sure.
So if anybody has a question that they can call you, and I'm coming up against a hard break here, but Nate, I have to tell you, that was a freaking master class, what we just heard.
Thank you, guys.
That was freaking amazing. And thank God this is recorded because you can go back now and you can re-listen to it if you're on the winner circle. And if you're not, I encourage you to be here. Mark, you couldn't pick a better day to come on the winner circle and just listen to what Nate talked about. That's real estate 101 right there. I'm telling you.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Does anybody have anything before we go? Can everybody give a thumbs up to Nate? What a great job he did.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Nate.
I appreciate it. And I'll
Hey,
toss
Nate, I
it.
got
All right.
Sid, go ahead. Sid, go ahead.
just a simple, quick question, Nate. You mentioned the company Corefact. Could you spell that again? I just want to make sure.
Core, yeah, one word, Corefact. And I'll give them a really proud. So what I do real quick, Sid, is I send one a month. And the best thing about Corefact is because like Elgin People Farms, he says, that means he has, one in Van Nuys, one in Santa Clarita, one in Antelope Valley. It will give them a market update of what has sold around their neighborhood, and you don't have to farm it. So you can send one house into one neighborhood and it will show, well, oh, it's great. And then you can pick like 4 holiday cards, 3 other cards, so you can mix and match it the way you want. So I do 6 that give value and then 3 or 4 whatever they do. But then those they probably do just throw away. But they say that, when they see me over and over and over, and then they get the email that I'm always top of mind. So core fact, but and you don't have to spend $1 a piece. That's just for the massive ones. You could get the smaller ones that are half that price if you're wanting to send to more people. But I just send those to my sphere of influence, my tight people. I don't farm with those at that. That would be too expensive to send 5,000 people that much. I don't have that type of budget.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Rewatch this. That's all I've got. Every Monday at 10 o'clock.
See you guys.
We'll be here except for the Labor Day weekend. I think September 2nd is a Monday. We are not going to be on because we want you to be swimming and having hot dogs with your family, all that kind of stuff. So until, I don't know, 2 weeks, we'll see you then. Thank you, everybody, for joining.